Hey, hey, welcome to the Sons on Vinyl show. My name is Phil Boyer, and with me, as always, is Mike Svensson out of Sweden. And this is going to be a little bit of a different show. We got some bad news over this past weekend with the death of Ken Kelly, who we've talked about many times on the show. He is one of those great painters, artists, did a lot of different album covers, most notably the Destroyer cover for the band Kiss, which obviously is one of Mike's favorite bands. So we thought we'd do a little tribute to him today, and Mike's got some goodies to show from when we got to meet him in Las Vegas a few years ago,
Mhm.
and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we always bring stuff up like this because we want to pay a tribute or a homage or whatever. And since both you and I met the guy in Vegas and we had such a great time, we thought that we're gonna roll with this. And like you mentioned, I'm gonna pick it up here. I have it right here beside me. He is famous for doing this, painting this, and the difference is with artists today. It's like I mean, back in the day, you had to paint everything. You did a big canvas and you painted. You were a real artist. And nowadays, you can do stuff in your computer. But King Kelly, he used to paint stuff by hand on a big canvas. So it's yeah. If you look at this, I mean, closely, you can see all the stuff that he puts in there. By, of course, it was something that he came up with Bill Coin and management, that they wanted a larger than life experience with Kiss on Destroyer, and it's been altered many times, but this is like the final version of it. So Kiss Destroyer, and when we talked to Kane in Vegas about this, I mean, obviously he he was there at the Kiss mini golf, of course,
Yep.
with Gene Simmons having his vault experience, and the vault experience was is it is a vault. Actually, we saw it's a big vault with all the demos and stuff from like the 60s and till this day with stuff that Gene has produced over the years with demos, recordings, and so forth. So, and Ken was there showing off his pictures and talking to the fans, because he used to do like a lot of different stuff. So there were graphics and paintings and so forth. So and he talked very warmly about the Kiss community. And since I was filming a lot in there, I mean, it was a big deal for me to meeting Ken Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up with staring at those records when I was a kid, and imagining how we would be to be in their shoes and so forth. So and just to give you an idea, I'm going to show you the other artwork that he did for Love Gun, as this is actually was, when I was growing up, one of my favorite artworks.
Mm-hmm.
And staring at this, and so he so I apologized for asking him all this weird question. And he says, "Oh no, don't worry, don't worry. I'm just happy to meet Kiss fans, because they're one of the nicest people around, because you're so genuine and you're so I didn't use the term nerdy, but almost, but to an extent where he said it, you'll be fine. Just ask your questions and so forth. And he could see that I was a little bit starstruck, and I called him the greatest artist uh, of all time or something like
Mhm.
that. I was flustered, and he said, I agree with that." He said, and we had a laugh and so forth. But it's and I told him that I took, I mean, all my waking hour when I was a kid, I was devoted to collecting stuff with Kiss and trying to figure out what every band name or every band
Mhm.
member what name they were and what they stood for and stuff, because I'm like 10, 12 years old at that time. and and now he told me the story in Vegas that this is actually his wife on all of these pictures. And she was a model for the girls here.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she had to stand model for all those girls. So in different forms and so for turning her head and so. Uh, and for you, you're listening to if you're listening to uh, uh, our podcast, you should head over to YouTube and check out
Watch
the
the
stuff
video. Yeah.
that yeah, watch the video because it's very
Yeah, I
very
mean, this is a
graphic today.
celebration of his art. You know, you can't talk about
Oh
Ken
yeah,
Kelly
yeah.
without showing
No.
his artwork. And you mentioned Gene Simmons earlier, and he had to say, said to find out Ken Kelly, who painted our Destroyer album cover, passed away. A kind and beloved gentleman, rest in peace. And he was
Yeah.
very kind. I mean, we spent like what
Oh yeah.
30 minutes at least talking
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
him and
At least.
monopolizing
Yeah.
his time,
Yeah.
and he didn't even care. He
Oh
was
yeah.
like, oh, you know,
No.
I feel like it was almost as cool for him as it was for us,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you know.
And I'm thinking that he's used to doing a lot of conventions, a lot of expos, and so forth, and he would eventually grow tired. I mean, he was an older gentleman. I mean, this was like 2018, so he was like sort of like 71 to something like that.
Hmm.
And to be able to meet new fans, because I told them I'm from Sweden, so it's, oh cool, Sweden, I know the country and so forth. And to be able to take the time and talk to me like that, and of course my friend Martin too, who's also a Swede. I mean, we're nerdy as hell, asking a lot of questions and filming and talking to him and want, because I'm like that. I want to know. I want to go in depth. What? How was it when you did those album covers and so forth? Did you get any instructions and how go about it and so forth? But it's, I mean, he was gentleman is the right word.
Hmm.
Gentleman, like Gene said,
Yeah.
he was a true gentleman. So very nice, very very nice.
Yeah, Paul Stanley said, "A moment to remember the great Ken Kelly. His fantasy art captured the larger than life image of Kiss perfectly. Rest in peace."
Yeah.
And I think
Oh yeah.
I both those statements are dead on. I mean, he really did
It
capture
is.
Kiss. You look at that Destroyer record, and it just like
Yeah.
it's Kiss.
And yeah, and
I
I
mean,
bought a print from him. It looks like this, and it's funny because
oh yeah, there's the
uh,
signature right there.
yeah, the signature right there. And I bought this, and he actually asked me, "Do you want me to sign it?" And I'm sort of like, "Isn't that like part of the deal?" And but I didn't say that, but I'm thinking so. Yeah, of course I want you to sign it. Oh, I thought I'll ask. Uh, so, and very humble. I mean, I'm buying a print from the artist himself, and he asked me if I want his signature on it. It's crazy to think that
Yeah,
he's like so humble. I mean, I'm moving my microphone so you can get a good shot at
yeah.
this. All right.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. You see?
You see?
And then of course I couldn't go without buying. this one too, of
The
course.
Love Gun, of course,
The Love Gun,
of
my
course,
favorite. I think it's so beautiful.
it
I
is.
think
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
I mean it,
Yeah,
and
and
just going back to what Paul said. I mean, if that does not show Kiss in all its glory, both of those images,
oh yeah,
then
yeah,
nothing does really. I mean, he really did nail it.
oh yeah, and I mean, I can guess, only guess. I don't know. I wasn't there in the 70s, but I'm thinking that he was an artist that, like all artists, struggling. Because I asked him about, did you make a lot of money, and of course he wouldn't answer that. Respectfully, of course, but I'm thinking that at the time there were like the biggest band in the world, and to be able to do that with his art. I mean, to get that job like two times, two
Hmm.
iconic album arts, both the Destroyer and Love Gun, that would have been like a great thing for an artist like him, and it was because it opened. He said it opened up a different path for him that he didn't know existed,
Hmm.
into rock and roll and so forth, and all the people that I mean, you guys never forget. No, of course. I mean, you're a great artist. You did a lot of album cover art with stuff that I grew up with, and
Hmm.
I thanked him for being so humble and so forth, and he was sort of like he's shrugging his shoulders and going, that's no problem. That's no problem.
Yeah.
So really cool, really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, he did album covers for Rainbow,
Oh yeah,
which
I got to
Richie
hear.
Richie Blackmore said he was a very nice man, very easy to work with. I gave him a simple idea which he turned into a magical picture. He shall be greatly missed. R.I.P. Ken Kelly. Definitely
You see?
Rainbow Rising. Yes.
Oh yeah. Mm,
Hmm.
what an album!
Yeah.
I told him about this because he had a print of this too, and I said, man, staring at that cover. I mean, it's hard. I talked to some young people, um, that I mean, born like they're sort of like in their 20s today, and they have a hard time grasping that you could spend hours looking at the cover art. I mean, I would like, with a magnifying glass, especially with the Kiss albums. I will sit there with my magnifying glass and listen to the album over and over again, and reading the lyrics, reading the imprints, and the liner notes, and so forth. And it's, I mean, you had to be there. I mean, if you're listening to music on a vinyl record, you have to take it all in. You have to. I mean, it's so physical. I mean, when I saw this on a CD, I mean, I almost cried because it's so freaking tiny, and you
Yeah.
hold it in your hands like this, and you pull it out, and then you got like uh, a vinyl record like this that you can hold in your hands. It's physical, and it's. I think that Ken Kelly was talking about this also with people that gets his art. That, I mean, he said, I can't do anything of the stuff that comes out today because I'm like what the kids say, old school. And I said, well, that's fine because I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way. This is the stuff that I grew up on. I mean, maybe we're reminiscing. Maybe we're. I mean, we're young. I mean, we're like 10, 12 years old when we discovered this. But still, we're talking. You and I are talking about this today. reminiscing, talking about
Mm-hmm.
album covers, talking about the stuff that we grew up upon. And here we have this older gentleman. We meet him, for me, across the pond in a different country, with different upbringings. He's
Mm-hmm.
much older, and he still gets it. He still gets, even though maybe he's not a vinyl collector. We didn't talk about that. Of course, he knows stuff about rock and roll. He heard Kiss and so forth. But he could, when I talked to him about the stuff that was important for me, he listened in, he took it in. And I mean, he, of course, he met a lot of people like me, crazy fans coming up to him and say, "Well, you changed my life with your artwork," or whatever. But still, it's, I think it's because it's the physical aspect of it. You
Mm-hmm.
could hold it, you can hold it up, and you
Right.
can look at it. I still today, I when I brought out this, I mean, when I took it out from my collection, I couldn't stop staring at it. I was supposed to go and record it with you, and I'm sitting. Oh shit! I'm late. Looking at it, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a work of art, and in the inside, everything is there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I do understand when when you read the quotes that people put out there, Richie Blackmore and Paul and Gene and so forth, that he was a gentleman, easy to work with. I mean, could you imagine Richie Blackmore saying to another person, "You're easy to work with"?
Yeah. That doesn't happen. That never
Yeah,
happens.
I mean,
Yeah.
it never
Very true.
happens.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
especially
people
as he
are.
put it, right? You know, I gave him a simple concept and he came up with
Yeah,
that. I'd be curious to know
yeah.
exactly what that simple concept was
Oh yeah,
and what Ken turned it into.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that would
He
be
he had some he had some sketches, but the sketches were like almost as the same as at the cover, but in black and white
mhm,
though. So we don't know,
yeah.
but it's funny when you mention he was easy to work with, Richie Blackmore
Yeah.
and Ken Kelly. Oh man, people left Rainbow or Deep Purple for lesser reasons. For crying out loud, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts when you think about
Uh,
it.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
go ahead.
yeah. I mean, if Richie Blackmore has that to say about Ken Kelly, I mean, it has to be like the stuff that we experienced when we met him. I mean, this is
The real
like
deal. He was
yeah, the
I
real
mean, you
deal.
you
Yeah,
got he was who he was and that's what you got. There was no act, there was no
yeah,
layer on top of it was just it was him. And
yeah.
and you don't often get that in that kind of environment, right? Especially somebody
No,
that's in that status, you know, with the
yeah.
egos and everything else. But he was very down to
Oh yeah,
earth and very, again, kind to give us a lot of time and things like that, where we could just chat with him. And
yeah.
you know, it was yeah, it was a cool experience. It was very
Oh
very
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not the Kiss fan that you and Martin were. that that whole mini golf Kiss
I know.
thing, that was an adventure, because it was an adventure before we even got there.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, it's
that
great.
was a fun day. That was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah.
Never to get to see Gene though,
I
or you
no,
know, or the
but
vault,
I can.
but
It's etched in my head the face that you were showing when Martin and I were beginning to grasp what we're going through. Oh, Kiss being a golf, Kiss, and oh shit, Ken Kelly, fuck, Genie's in out of the room, and you're going like this, shaking your
I
head,
think we
going,
spent like
"Oh,
three,
you,
4 hours at the mini golf, just waiting to see Gene and all that.
oh
Oh my god, we never did even
man,
play the mini golf.
no,
We just stood around and
no,
talked
we
with
just
Ken
stood around,
and all that.
yeah."
Yeah. it was a good time.
You were you were so patient, and the girls, our wives, were so patient too. So it was great. It was great.
It was a lot of fun.
And yeah, and if you head on over to our YouTube, you can see that we're gonna post a short clip of me filming a small conversation that I had with Ken, and we're goofing off, and he had a great sense of humor, and it was just a great day overall. So it's
yeah, we'll put that
so
that at the end of the video
Yeah.
here. So
yeah,
it'll be
Cool.
cool. So if you've got the chance to meet Ken Kelly and you picked up some of his stuff, share your experience with him, and tag us on Instagram, or head on over to the website at sonsonvinyl.com, leave a comment, and let's just remember the man, the myth, the legend of Ken Kelly and his amazing artwork.
All right.
All right.
May he rest in peace.
Yep. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. Later.
Later. This is Ken Kelly, one of the greatest artists in the world.
Yay.
Yay!
I agree with that. Yay. And I'm not conceited. Self-absorbed.
And you.
I just happen to be that good.
Yeah,
There
yay!
you go. Woo. Now you got a magazine
Yeah.
article.